Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Neurodiverse and Restless. I'm your host, John Arroyo. And boy, was Raw crazy. We had a lot of crazy stuff. Raw was filled with tag team matches. Guys, Raw was pretty much a tag team match show. I'm going to break it down. We got a lackluster turn. I'm going to talk about that more, but pretty much I think we have a new member of division, and it's pretty disappointing, in my opinion, and I will explain why, so let's get right into it. So we open Raw with CM Punk coming out thanking the fans, thanking his wife, AJ Lee, pretty much saying that this is what he wants to do. This is what he breathes, lives, and dies for. And he also thinks Jay, if they can still be friends. But he don't know, because Jay lately has been acting like a little Roman, and I love how we keep teasing that. And CM Punk says he can face Dirty Dom, he can face Sheamus, well, he can maybe face John Cena one more time. Pretty much Punk saying that anyone is welcome to the challenge, and then Logan Paul shows up. Yeah. We haven't seen him since Clash of Paris. I'm like, okay, we're building something maybe. Logan Paul says he wants a title shot. Punk says no. Logan Paul says why. Punk says, you're barely not a wrestler. You know, that good back and forth. And then the Vision shows up. And Heyman tells Logan Paul, you're just a little on a leash, so back off. Because the big dogs are here to play. Breakker and Reed wants the title. Either one of them will get it. CM Punk says you want to fight, then fight. Logan walks off, but when Punk gets beat up, Logan comes in for the save. And pretty much that will lead into something on later in the night. And we'll get back to that. Then we get the women's tag team match of Stephanie Vaquer Nikki Bella versus Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Really good match. Right away, Roxanne was playing mind games, but Raquel Rodriguez stole the show in this match. She was dominating, just flipping, tossing Nikki Bella around like a rag doll. Stephanie Vaquer comes in. She dominated her until Nikki and Stephanie does a double crossbody on the outside. I thought that was pretty cool. Back in the ring, good back and forth. And near the end, Stephanie Vaquer is heading the devil kiss on the ring apron to Raquel. Raquel takes her out. Nikki Bella tries to stop Raquel from beating up Stephanie, and while with the distraction, Roxanne picks up the one with Pac rocks. And then after the match backstage, Stephanie is walking backstage, and Nikki Bella says, I am so sorry for losing the match. I feel like I can't keep up with the rest of this woman in this current generation. And Stephanie Vaquer comforts Nikki and says, like, well, you're a Hall of Famer. You did a lot for the women's evolution. You still got it. And Nikki Bella says, okay, if you ever need me, I heard you have a title match next week against Raquel Rodriguez. If you need me by ringside, I will be there. And Stephanie says, let me think about it. And then when Stephanie walks off, Nikki Bella kind of have a smile. Finally, we're going to get Nikki Bella's heel turn. No offense, but Nikki Bella as a babyface never worked. I never liked the Bellas as a face. The Bellas are always better as a heel. Their tag team works better as a heel. She's a better heel. Like any good matches in Nikki Bella, she's always the heel. She's never really the face. So if we can get that, that'd be interesting. And I don't think Nikki would take the title, but it can lead into some pretty good matchups. Her versus AJ Lee again. I wouldn't mind Nikki Bella versus maybe a Io Sky. Like it makes more possibilities if she's heel. So I cannot wait to see how that all plays out. Then backstage, CM Punk is mad, trying to find Adam Pearce. And then Jey Uso says, hey, we had a match at Saturday night's main event. I'm still cool with you. If you want, let's team up and take out Division tonight. CM Punk is hesitant, being like, well, are you main event or are you little Roman? And Jay says, I'm main event. I'm never going to be like Roman Reigns. I like it. We're still teasing that Jay secretly wants to be the acknowledged, like that egotistical. We see a little bit of it. And we're going to see it more in the main event too, but I kind of like it. Then we get a really quick lucha style match. So we have Grande Americano versus Penta. Just straight up lucha madness. Penta was on fire early. Fact strikes, head scissors. Americano did some pretty good things. Top rope move and then a drop kick to Penta on the outside that looked devastating. Back in the ring, it was just pure chaos near the end because one of the Americano's sidekicks put a metal plate in Americano's max. Americano tries to use it, but Penta knocks him out, and then the Un-Americano try to distract him. No matter what, no matter how many distractions, Bunta still hit the Bunta Destroyer for the win. This was a really good match. I wish it was just a little longer, but it's really cool. And the next segment was an OMG moment. So let's get to that. So then we had Dominik Mysterio coming out, talking about his win at Saturday Night's main event, saying that he is the best luchador of all time. He's the only IC champion that can also hold the AAA champion, the only Mysterio to hold the AAA Mega champion, and the top luchador, because everyone knows Dirty Dom's name. And he don't care if you're Blue Demon, if you're Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, no matter what, he is the best luchador. And then Rey Mysterio's back, guys. And he's looking good. So Rey Mysterio comes back and Rey Mysterio says, how could you? How about El Santo, Blue Demon? Like, he lists a whole name of like luchadors. And then when he gets to Eddie Guerrero, Dominik says, that's my dad, do not mess with me. And Rey says, you're still playing that storyline? Rey said that you can never be as dirty as Eddie, because Eddie had a real heart. You're just a cheap knockoff. And then we get some good back and forth. Dominik says, well, at least I'm the only Guerrero. And no, he says Guerrero. But he says he's the best Guerrero, but also he's the only Mysterio to be doing more accolades than his dad. And Rey says, do you need a butt whooping? And Dominik says, do whatever you want. And Rey says, wait, because you can't be the king of lucha if I'm still here. And that leads into a brawl. I cannot wait. Does this mean Rey Mysterio is going to go after the AAA title or the IC title? This is going to be a really interesting storyline, because we never got the full storyline of Dominik and Rey. So I think this is how they're going to wrap it around. So I cannot wait. And then after that, Becky Lynch shows up out of nowhere, crashing out at the announce table, screaming while her husband is hurt. Seth Rollins' division is out of control. She was a part of the division, and now look at them. She's been losing to Maxine Dupree, and she is mad. She went up to the referee a couple weeks ago, and argued, and she got fined. And she's just tripping out, and she says, why is Maxine Dupree a wrestler? She's not a wrestler. She does not belong here. And she says, next time Maxine wants that match, I'm going to rip her arm off. She storms off mad. Then the Kabuki Warriors come out, and they kind of have a little bit of a stare down. So I don't know if this means Asuka and Becky for the IC title down the line, or it could be Kyrie, or this is maybe like their alliance for War Games. We have to wait to see. And then it leads into the match of the Kabuki Warriors versus Lyra and Bayley. And guys, this was the best match of the night. Lyra and Asuka was going back and forth. I can't explain how Lyra Valkyria moves in the ring, because when she moves in the ring, it's very technical, very smooth. She's like a bird. That's her gimmick. It's starting to click. The way she moves is so elegant. And then out of nowhere, Bayley gets tagged in, and Asuka goes straight to tag into Kyrie. And everyone's confused. Kyrie's confused, and Asuka whispered to Kyrie, no, this is a part of the plan. Then Bayley and Kyrie go at it for a bit. But damn, Kyrie Sane is underrated. She hit some heavy, stiff punches. Guys, you thought her match against Io Sky was aggressive? The way she was beating up Bayley and hit that top rope face elbow drop? Ouch. Like, Kyrie Sane was going at it. And then Kyrie went back and forth for Lyra, and then Asuka tags back in, and that's when it gets juicy, because Asuka and Bayley goes at it, and then it's multiple woman tag moves back and forth, so many missed pins, everyone's counting out, and at the end, it's so much chaos, but Kyrie Sane and Asuka used that to their advantage, getting the upper hand, hitting the insane elbow for the win. And then after they're stalking down Lyra, Bayley shows up, but then they look at Bayley. And then out of nowhere, Charlotte and Alexa shows up. And that makes the match for next week for the women's tag team titles against Charlotte and Alexa versus Kabuki Warriors. So I think this is pretty much leading into a match. Most likely, this could be also a part of the women's war game. But I can see the Kabuki Warriors getting the title. Like, it's not that hard. I love how lately the Kabuki Warriors said they want to dominate the women's tag team scene, and now they actually have women tag teams that can be on their level. What I mean by that is some of these teams seem a little mixed match, a little, but at least in the matches, they are killing it. The last couple of weeks, these women have been putting on a show. So if the Kabuki Warriors can like be the top heels and then everyone else try to be on their level to get the titles, I wouldn't be mad. This women's division is looking pretty good so far for the tag team division. And then we have a backstage segment. So Roxanne Perez tells everyone Raquel got a title shot next week against Stephanie Vaquer. Everyone's hyped, but then Dominik shows up ruining the party, complaining that his dad is back and no one's there to help him. And JD and Finn says, well, you weren't there to help us with the tag titles. Not just that, you didn't ask for help. You could have asked Americano and everyone else you wanted, but us. Dominik gets a little frustrated. Roxanne tells him to calm down. And then JD and Madonna, JD, Madonna, and Finn Balor goes into their match. So that leads into the World Heavyweight Tag Team match. And it was insane. Finn and JD jump the hell out of Dragon and AJ Styles right away. But then Dragon hits a big dive. AJ Styles cleans house. Like the way both of them was working together, they're a pretty good tag team. Great back and forth. It was just pure chaos. But at the end, Dominik Mysterio tries to help. That backfires. Sheamus comes out of nowhere to beat the hell out of Dominik. And to help because Sheamus still had beef with Judgment Day for losing the Battle Royal. And that caused AJ Styles to hit the Cyrus Clash on JD to pick up the win. So Judgment Day have even more drama because they have lost the titles again. And thanks to Dominik's help, they lost their chance. So we have to see how that all plays out. Then y'all, I'm hyped. We got announced the John Cena Tournament Tour. So that's pretty much John Cena Farewell Tour. Adam Pearce announces the first 2 matches next week on Raw. The rest of them are going to be announced on SmackDown. But guys, this is a pretty star lineup. So we have Rusev versus Damian Priest. That's going to be a banger. And then Shinsuke versus Sheamus, an honor banger. So guys, this Fell War Tour is getting us some pretty killer matches. I can't wait to see the SmackDown lineup later this week. Also, they say NXT is evolved, so maybe on NXT we get some announcements. But these 2 matches for round 1, it's hard for me to decide who moves on because all 4 men are great. So I'm going to just wait to see who advances to round 2. Then we get the main event. CM Punk and Jey Uso versus The Vision. CM Punk and Jey Uso work well together at first, but Reed and Breakker took them down. Great back and forth, but Reed and Breakker was just crazy, just dominating. But then Punk and Jay tried to put Reed for a table, but Breakker stopped it with a spear, just straight up demolition. To a point that the referee disqualified the match because everyone was just getting too aggressive. And then out of nowhere, Breakker and Reed hit a spear in a Shunabi splash, demolishing Jay. CM Punk comes up back in with a steel chair, saving Jay. But Breakker and Reed is like, that's gonna hurt us. So they come back with steel chairs. And then it looks like Punk is gonna get beat up. But then Logan Paul shows up with the brass knuckles. And then out of nowhere, Logan Paul literally punches Punk in the face, gets in Heyman's face, and then hands the brass knuckles.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah. I felt like it was kind of lackluster. Not to be rude, but I feel like the main title card picture needs Seth badly. Because it's like, okay, Logan Paul's back. Now he's a part of the division, maybe? I don't know. For me, if Logan Paul's going to be a heel, I don't think he's a part of the division. I think they're just working together. Do not put him in part of the division. Because for me, Logan Paul is such a good heel by himself. And if you pair him up with someone else like the whole Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul outshines. Like when he was teamed up with Drew, he kind of outshined Drew, not in the ring, but just by presence alone. So like, if that's the case, I'm worried that Reed and Breakker, if they pair up with Logan, that they're not going to get enough attention, not attention, but they're not going to get the same reaction that they are currently. Because all the hate is going to go to Logan and not the other two to build them up. Pretty much that's my thoughts. Next week it's going to be crazy because we have Rusev versus Damian Priest, Shinsuke versus Sheamus for the first round of the John Cena tournament, the women's tag team match of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte versus the Kabuki Warriors for the women's world tag team titles. And then we have Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez for the women's world title. So next week we're going to be stacked. And I have a couple predictions. Nikki Bella is most likely going to turn on Stephanie next Raw. I would like to see, I think we're going to see more drama with Judgment Day, especially because Rey Mysterio's back. Also, I feel like we're going to set up more stuff for like War Games, because War Games is literally in like 3 weeks and we didn't get no teams announced, no build up. So we have to wait to see how that all plays out. Hopefully you guys liked the video and I will see you guys next time.